.7 Love 99.5 FM and affiliates across Ghana, including Radio Wa in Wa, ATL FM in Cape Coast, and A1 Radio in Bogatanga. You can also download the My Joy Online app from Play Store and App Store to listen live on the internet. In this edition, Pressure Group Occupy Ghana rejects National Security Ministry's decision to investigate allegations its officers brutalized City FM journalist who was arrested for filming abandoned vehicles at a security zone.
It's not new. The National Security always issues statements of these three. It doesn't go anywhere after that. And so if we don't have an independent inquiry, we treat their response with the contempt it deserves.
We have details plus hear from government on what it expects the National Security Ministry's investigation to reveal.
And our expectation is that that inquiry is not a perfunctory inquiry. It's a serious inquiry that should get to the bottom of it, find out if indeed these allegations are true, persons who are responsible for it be held to account.
We have details. Also, President Akufo-Addo opens talks with transport operators over plans to increase fares following recent fuel price hikes. We have an update as two previous engagements between the Transport Ministry and the operators failed to reach an agreement. More than 50 orphan children among hundreds of displaced persons in the North Gonja district of the Savannah region still without help more than 24 hours after rainwater drove them out of their homes.
We are almost losing one of our buildings because it's dug out the whole foundation. There is another one behind there. That one is almost collapsed. And then having looked at the ground, it's not looking good at all.
We'll take you live there. Plus sports.
Quit making accusations of external influence on national team selections. That's according to head coach of the senior national team, the Black Stars. We'll hear from CK Akono.
And in Fansipim, Old Boys Association hopeful of winning a National Science and Maths Quiz Trophy in October after beating Adisco and two others to win title as Central Regional Champions.
I became happy yesterday when we beat Augustins. Augustins, they are our rivals.
Hey, designer, boche besa. Hey, boche besa. Designer, boche besa.
We have that and more here on the Midday. And this is your home of bold and fearless journalism. This afternoon, government is being urged to task an independent body to probe the for filming abandoned state vehicles at the National Security Facility, says the operatives pushed and kicked him in the groins. That's not all. He also claims he was slapped repeatedly by the operatives till he felt dizzy.
Look, when I do this, I feel pain in my back. My side hurts. And anytime I receive calls from people, the whole episode plays back.
The journalist recounts his ordeal. He alleges he was manhandled many times by operatives after they found him filming abandoned vehicles at a yard belonging to the National Security Secretariat.
But they was just still slapping me from the back. You'll be talking to another one, and someone will just come and slap you from the back, and you feel dizzy at once. And it's like, it was so far.
And when asked of his ethnic origin, Caleb says he lied as he feared a situation would worsen.
And one of them was like, and another was and I knew that if I confirmed that, my beating would have doubled. And for some reason, I just don't want to Cape Coast. And another one said, Cape Coast for your next
Managers of City FM are unhappy and want government to take action
against this Colonel Ajman guy because he's a disgrace to the government, he's a disgrace to the national security, and he is not fit for that job.
That's a News Desk report. Now, the Ministry of National Security says it has launched investigations into this matter. Here are extracts from the statement issued by the ministry.
The ministry has therefore initiated investigations into the said allegations. It is worth noting that the interrogation of the two journalists was necessitated by the following. Mr. Kuda was detected on the said day filming within the presence of a national security installation, contrary to the no photography rules at such restricted security zones. Upon interrogation, it was revealed that Mr. Kuda had gained access to the premises under false pretense. It was also revealed that Mr. Kuda had forwarded the footages he had taken surreptitiously to Zoe Abubeidu. Upon declining an invitation for an interrogation, Ms. Abubeidu was picked up by operatives of the ministry. The journalists were released on the same day after the interrogation.
Well, management of City FM have described the statement from the ministry as problematic. Bernard Avla is general manager. He spoke on the station's breakfast show.
What I find problematic is that the statement also says that she said she would not come. But I think that was not the full story because she said she called back trying to speak to her superiors before coming, and then they came here in the style. The statement is also doesn't say anything about the way they came to arrest her. It doesn't say anything about the manner in which they came to arrest her. But the statement is, I think it's It doesn't do it for me. I don't understand what they are saying, honestly. The treatment of Caleb was completely unwarranted, overboard, and illegal. And the statement from the Ministry of National Security doesn't address it, doesn't begin to address the seriousness of what has happened in any way.
Now, pressure group Occupy Ghana is asking government to task an independent body to probe the matter. Kweku Segbefia is a member.
The ministry was trying to downplay an action that goes against the tenets of democracy, common sense, and basic human rights respect. And this is exactly the posture of the national security over the 29 years of our democratic experiment. He called the Guantanamo-based style treatment of Caleb Kuda an interrogation as if it was no import. Talked about their release as if the conversation was nothing but the meeting of friends, and then afterwards he was released. But if he knows, if the Lieutenant Colonel Srebo is aware that they were released the same day, then he is also aware that for 5 hours under handcuffs, Caleb was beaten, slapped, kicked in the groin, and beating in his kidneys and in his back for 5 grueling hours without access to any lawyer at all. So our reaction to that statement is that 1, it's not new. 2, the national security always issues statements of this. 3, it doesn't go anywhere after that. And so if we don't have an independent inquiry, we treat their response with the contempt it deserves.
That's Kweku Segbefia of Occupy Ghana speaking on News Desk on the Joy News channel. Now, lawyer Samson Ladi Anyenene agrees with this view and says such a probe must be extended to cover other citizens who have equally been abused by national security operatives. He's been speaking on the Super Morning Show.
An independent committee to be set up. But this time round, what should it do? It should invite citizens who have had encounters with the national security. It should include the BNI. It should include the rest of them, these other bodies that have been set up, to come to that committee or commission to tell their stories. This country will be shocked to the marrow. And I'm speaking from experience. For those people who think we speak and we just speak like them because we read some statements issued by government, and on the basis of that we are speaking, or we have heard one person complain that they have been tortured and we are speaking. It's far more than that.
That's Samson Ladi Anyenene. He's a lawyer. Now, government has been speaking on the matter. Information Minister Kojo Ponkroma, who paid a visit to City FM, had this to say.
Our expectation is that that inquiry is not a perfunctory inquiry. It's a serious inquiry that should get to the bottom of it and find out if indeed these allegations are true, the persons who are responsible for it be held to account. No ifs, no buts. There are many times when you find security agencies say they are investigating a matter, and these investigations never end. But it is important that this investigation is seen through, and the persons responsible, if these accounts are found to be true, are held to account. But even beyond this, we in the ministry have been working to strengthen the National Media Commission, which is a constitutionally mandated body to, among other things, preserve the sanctity of media practice in this country. We've been working to strengthen their outfit so that they can also independently deal with some of these matters. That's why quite recently we set up a whole office dedicated to this purpose. Over the holiday, I've had opportunity to speak to the chairman and to the executive secretary that they need to take an interest in this matter, and indeed the other reports as have come forward, and do their inquiries and put forward the necessary recommendations that need to be put out.
Information Minister Kojo Ponkroma when he paid a visit to City FM earlier. Now, President Akufo-Addo is personally leading the negotiation with transport operators on an acceptable increment for transport fares following the recent adjustment in petroleum products. 2 earlier engagements with the Transport Ministry seem to have broken down as the operators are refusing to back down on their proposed 15 to 20% increment. Presidential correspondent Elton Brobe is monitoring that meeting. He joins us with more via phone. Elton, what has been the explanation for the stalled negotiations by the council?
So, last week, the Coordination Council met GPRT and the other transport orders. Now, after the meeting, they reviewed the cost of components, including the recent increase in the price of petroleum products, cost of spare parts, inflation, driver salaries, and taxes, among others. Now, the meeting was, however, inconclusive. They have put a motion before the Ministry of Finance, and that motion relates to bringing some clarity to some of the provisions in the Income Tax Amendment Act 2021. The Act, in its current form, suspends the payment of vehicle income tax for taxes and trotro. However, its application, according to the meeting, has been shrouded with some ambiguity. The vehicle income tax constitutes part of the cost build-up for the determination of the fares. So they therefore commenced discussions with the Ministry of Finance and the Ghana Revenue Authority to bring clarity to the application of the vehicle income tax. And so this is where we are. Until that is done, according to the council, they will not be able to agree on the exact percentage increment that is required following the increment in the petroleum products.
Well, so the president has a position on the matter?
So this morning, my information is that because of the stalled negotiation, President Akufo-Addo invited all of them into the meeting in behind closed doors. We are told that DPRT is moving from between 15 and 20% increment, while some other transport unions are also asking for 30 to 40% increment. My government position, I'm told, is that the government doesn't want to go beyond 10% increment for transport fares. And this is why President Akufo-Addo is trying to get the operators to buy into it for an agreement. But the expectation I'm picking is that by the end of today, they will have a uniform percentage increase going for. The government says that it's not willing to go beyond 10%. DPRT said 50 to 20%. Others are saying 30 to 40%. What will be the percentage increment? That is what
Akufo-Addo is personally leading that negotiation with transport operators on an acceptable increment for transport fares. We're following that meeting. Working conditions there. Hashtag fix the theatre now. The doctors infested furniture. Here are some of the comments. Matilda Bomega of our Health Desk, Gavi, I should add, is here with some of those comments.
I'm a surgeon at Cath Main Theatre. Hashtag fix the theatre. And others are also saying, I beg for hot water in a canteen to operate in a theatre. Hashtag fix the theatre. Then there's also a doctor who shared this. One doctor also said, I operate in a theatre with light, as bright in inverted commas, as bright as you. A very delicate situation at Cath.
Thank you very much, Matilda Gavi of our Health Desk. Now, some staff who spoke to Love News on condition of anonymity say they have complained to management, but the challenges are yet to be addressed. Let's get a reaction from Dr. Joseph Opong, who is head of surgery directorate at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. Thank you very much for your time here on the Midday News, sir. I'm sure these concerns being raised by the surgeons have been brought to your attention. They are talking about the poor state of the main theatre. How come we have such a situation at Konfanoche Teaching Hospital?
Thank you. Please, your name.
Please, my name is Emefa, sir.
Emefa, sorry. Thank you. I'm happy that I've been put on the line. In the first place, let me use your channel to. I've already done that to management to apologize to once again to management of Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, and then the agreed staff. What has happened is unfortunate. In the first place, I want to bring to notion that there's always a channel of communication, number one. And number two, the people who actually have pulled these complaints, it's not the first time. And that we are not putting an effort to make the system run irrespective of the challenges that confront us daily in our activity, noting with our limited resources and even outbreak of the COVID. One thing that baffles me or surprises me is that the complaints that they are making is unfortunate that these things are in place. These things that they are talking of, not that we are not working, we have been working on it, and some of them have been put in place a long time ago. And in my press release, I say that anybody who cares can come and verify. Konfanoche is no means any ordinary hospital. It's a public big institution that serves this country, the whole country, north and beyond. And don't forget that infrastructure, when it's put down there, it doesn't usually commensurate with the explosion of population. And it's not that even the systems are not working. It's just that with the quantity of work and the human resources here, and these people, some of them are even undergoing postgraduate, which their time is also important to them.
So Dr. Opon, specifically, they've raised concerns about faulty instruments, faulty air conditioners, poor ventilation, bug-infested furniture, not to talk about the poor quality of lights they have to use for surgery. Are you saying that all these situations have been addressed?
Yes, please. Emifa, excuse me, your air conditioner have not leaked water a bit a day? And we know this hospital, the government or public institution, even if things get faulted, it doesn't get like some for this private institution that they get this money in hand in the pocket and they go and buy it. Call any agent or any manufacturer and bring it. It has to go through system. These things, they are laid down till things are picky. Now, if you come now, this how do you call coffee room without table to rest or chair to sit. They'll come and see now. The process are already in place.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're saying that all these concerns they are raising under the hashtag Fix the Theatre now have been addressed?
It's not a news. The whole nation, people are calling hashtag. It's not a news. We know how people behave these days. We are not patient on certain things, and people are just emotional about so many things. It's unfortunate. These people who are complaining are managers themselves. They sit on committees. They are chairmen of committees, they are members of committees that put these things together, and we have a formula plan, an action plan with timelines to carry out.
But I'm wondering what interest these surgeons will have by going public on social media. What interest will they actually serve if these situations you're saying have been resolved?
Emifa, I think nobody is a stranger in this country. I think nobody is a stranger in this country. There are people these days.
How exactly do you mean? How exactly do you mean, Dr. Opon?
Yes, please. So if you look, Emifa, these people are complaining. Now that I see somewhere and they are working somewhere. Let me tell you, yesterday, I have to stay the whole day here to do 2 major cases. Though I didn't know that Thursday going to be holiday. I booked this case from Sehri and from, I think, the one of the places. And they by the time they were already in admission. I worked. I left here around 7-something. You, Emifa, I will ask those who complain, their residents, how many hours did they spend in the hospital? Tell me.
But I asked you a question. What exactly will be their interest for them to go on social media to start a hashtag when you say these problems are non-existent?
Yes, I can't answer their question. It's left to them. There are so many things I can't put in, things that they are put in our local WhatsApp account, and I have a way to deal with them as a head of director. You see, in our local parlance, people are permitted to say, "If a penny would be a mate." When you have information, it depends how you handle it and work to deflate whatever tension or whatever agitation or whatever irritation people are having. Our theater, and for that matter, Combonoche, is not a place people can have quality of service. We have an oxygen plant that is working 24 hours. That's supply every week. Formally, what do we do? People are usually still in there. So, my friend, if they are doing data management, the chief executive is management presently one of the best management. I've worked here almost 30 years. I'm the longest serving doctor here. I received award in 2019.
Well, Dr. Joseph Opon, we're grateful. I will leave it here. And of course, we'll hear from these doctors again. They've taken to social media on the hashtag Fix the Theatre Now. You heard Head of Surgery Directorate at the Confanochi Teaching Hospital, Dr. Joseph Opon there. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. And Pressure Group Occupy Ghana rejects National Security Ministry's decision to investigate allegations its officers brutalized City FM journalist who was arrested for filming an abandoned vehicle at the security zone. That's our top story for this afternoon. And when we return, we have sports and more than 50 orphan children among hundreds of displaced persons in the North Gunja district of the Savannah region, still without help more than 24 hours after rainwater drove them out of their homes.
We are almost losing one of our buildings because it's dug out the whole foundation. There's another one behind there. That one is almost collapsed. And then having looked at the ground, it's not looking good at all.
And also later, 1994, Infansipim Old Boys Association hopeful of winning National Science and Maths Quiz Trophy in October after beating Adisco and two others to win title as Central Regional Champions.
I became happy yesterday when we beat Augustins. Augustins, they are our rivals.
A designer, boche bese. Boche bese, designer, boche bese.
The 5th Ghana CEO Summit is here again, the foremost business conference for topmost CEOs and business leaders, to be held on the 17th and 18th of May 2021 at Kempinski Hotel, Accra, on the theme Digital Transformation, Powering Business and Government Reset for a Post-Pandemic Economic Resilience, a Public-Private Sector Dialogue. For corporate registration, visit www.ghanaceosummit.com or call 054-639-1970. Powered by CEO Network Ghana in partnership with GIPC.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. With me, MFA Apao. It's time for sport with Hans Mensando. Hello, Hans.
Hello, MFA. And the Black Stars head coach CK Akono has implored Ghanaians to quit making accusations of external influence on national team selection. Akono has been under lots of scrutiny from the public, who suggests the 47-year-old is subject to an overindulgence of the GFA's big guns on his selection. And he announced a 30-man squad for the friendlies against Ivory Coast and Morocco and called for a cease to those suggestions.
I'm the coach. I'm the one who is in charge of it, in charge of the team, the call-ups. Of course, football is not made by one person alone. Or, I have the assistant here that I do discuss a lot of things with. I have the video analyst as well, who looks at the players, who is better, who is not good, who can fit into what we want to do, and that is how we work. And so, based on these facts, we invite the players. All of them are doing well. Don't get it wrong. All of them are doing well. But we look at what we want to do and how we want to play. And based on these facts, we invite those players to us. I don't work alone. Football is not made alone. You yourself, you can even bring an idea. It's my choice to pick or not. So let's leave that.
That's head coach of the senior national team, the Black Stars, CK Akono. That's your sports.
Thank you very much, Hans. I'll take you to the Savannah region now, where more than 50 orphan children among hundreds of displaced persons in the North Gunja district still without help more than 24 hours after rainwater drove them out of their homes. Many, including women and children, slept in the open without mattresses, food or other basic life essentials. We'll take you live there shortly, but first, here's a report on the devastation.
The rain started around 10 p.m. Wednesday night till about 5 a.m. on Thursday. Both public and private properties like bridges, schools, houses, including farmlands and shops, were affected. Maize and groundnut farms were equally flooded. The affected communities include Canteen, Redemption Town, Fire Service, Hunger Line, and Swalepe. But Fire Service and Redemption Town are the most affected. The two dams, Agric and Canteen in Damango, that had no water suddenly became full after the downpour. Here are some affected residents.
When the water was coming, it got to the fence. We are still thinking that it's normal. That's where it's only level. So it moved into the yard. And later on, got to the veranda. So now currently, everything inside my house is now flooded.
I think that the water will come and carry all of us. I was crying and we woke up everybody that they should come out. Me, I hold my child, I'm running away. They were calling me, I don't even mind them.
So that's Isaac Nonya's report there earlier. Well, he joins us live 24 hours after the situation. Let's assess it. Savannah region correspondent Isaac Nonya. So tell us what the situation is. Has the situation changed as we speak?
Yes, you get to that.
Well, we can hear from some of these displaced persons.
We are almost losing one of our buildings because it's dug out the whole foundation. There's another one behind there. That one is almost collapsed. And then having looked at the ground, it's not looking good at all. So we are only just looking forward to see how we'll be able to make the place a conducive place for the children to stay again.
My mom with my junior one, they slept outside. And if only there is a cameraman here, you can see all their mattresses are still outside. The whole rooms are still wet.
Let me hear from you. I can see mattresses, books,
furniture and what have you outside. What are some of the things you lost as a result of the flood?
Our phones, everything was soaked by water. Our beds, everything was just soaked by water. Everything. Now, as we are sitting like this, food, everything was soaked. We don't have food again to eat.
Meanwhile, the National Disaster Management Organization says it is yet to reach out to authorities for support as the stores are currently depleted. We can hear from Mohammed Poyi.
For now, we are taking this record. After taking this record, we liaise with appropriate agency to see how best they can help us help the affected victims. Earlier, when the storm disaster hit us, we called the MP, Abu Jinapur, who came to the aid of all the affected persons. But this thing happened just yesterday, so we are still counting and then taking the records to see how best we can liaise with him once again to come to our support.
That's Mohammed Poyi in charge of NADMO in the Savannah region area. It's a good time to go to the rest of the country, and we start off from the Ashanti region. Hannah Odame joins me in studio. Hannah, tell us why the chief of TAFO is furious.
Nana Ajin Frimpong Abibio is furious, and this is towards the Member of Parliament there, Vincent Eko Asafwa, who failed to honor an invitation for the commissioning of an astroturf. He spoke to the press, and this is what he said.
MP no nanu ye bie astro cast adan wama opekuro ni ye die.
Where was he during the launch of the new AstroTurf? We invited him, but he never showed up. Does he care about our development? They fight for their personal interest at the expense of the constituent.
Internal auditors ni external auditors wo mu nyina wo me no na kasa. I have
had conversations with both internal and external auditors about the corruption allegations. They must give answers to these allegations. If they have anything to say, let them come and say it openly.
And we're yet to hear from the NP on that. We'll stay in the Ashanti region, this time for a Drive Safe campaign.
Safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
And road safety campaigners are expressing concern about the pedestrian crossing in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. Kofi Asari has this report read to you.
The zebra or pedestrian crossing is put on the road to allow pedestrians, such as school children, to cross the road without any troubles from approaching vehicles. These are drivers who were seen standing in the pedestrian crossing.
We are sometimes forced by the traffic to stand in the zebra crossing.
It takes the intervention of city guards to direct road users to ply these routes. And that's Kofi Asari's report there. And it's time for our National Science and Maths Quiz update. And some members of the 1994 Infancy Old Boys Association say they are hopeful their school will win the 2021 National Science and Maths Quiz Trophy in October after they beat Adisco and two others to win the bragging rights as Central Regional Champions. Maxwell Agoba has more.
Designer, what you say?
It's Infancy School. We are the Central Region Champions. Infancy School put up a spirited performance during the championship. They beat Wesley Girls High School, they beat Ogasco, they beat Swasco to qualify to the finals. And at the finals today, they are the champions. They have won. They are the Central Region Champions. And they say that all the schools in Ghana should watch out for them.
Well, that's the jubilation mood that erupted after Infancy Pim won the Central Regional Competition of the Science and Maths Quiz.
Because I'm happy. Are we really happy?
Yes, me, I'm happy.
You're happy. But Ghana has been ranked 95th in the just released 2021 World Happiness Report. And we've been speaking to some Ghanaians about their happiness, and this is what they had to say.
Chief of the Armed Forces is our president, and our vice president also has a responsibility in our police service. Where are we going? Where are we heading towards? Are we supposed to live in fear in our own country, or we are supposed to be happy in our own country? So if there is demonstration, can't Ghanaians demonstrate for their rights? How many journalists have been murdered? The one who murdered Ahmed Swali, has the culprit been found? No. So if we are unhappy in this country, we are unhappy because our country is not safe.
Our expectation hasn't been in that level, because if you claim say somebody more or less eats corruption, baths corruption, sleeps on the bed of corruption, then you come and you have even done worse than is expected of no. Then that means I see no reason why we should even vote in the first place to change the government. Because the direction in which Mama was taking this nation is more or less far better than what we are experiencing now.
The roof without a roof. Okay, so South Africa's ranking at number 76.
So give us tips on how we can be happy as
Tips.
Ghanaians.
So what you can do is
International
please, the
woman.
tips that I'm about to give, there, meditate. Stop talking plenty, and the chilling. You for do times 10.
Hey. Thank you very much, Mapito. And those are tips. In fact, whatever it is, God will definitely make you happy, and I will be fruitful. That's a message coming up with Pastor Mensa Otabil. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Life indeed is no race. Just make yourself happy. I am MFA Pau. Enjoy your weekend.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that we can put the money in your account.
Hey,
oh dada, MTN will never ask you for your PIN. Never reveal your PIN to anyone under any circumstances. And if you are not sure, always check the number. MTN will only call you with a dedicated